Oh, we have the guy who just sat down. He has a name, but unfortunately, his personality got ahead of him. He became very famous for being incredibly dangerous in apologetics, and now he is called Usama Darkwing Duck.
Well, brother, it is always good and honor to be with you. If I become famous or not, I don't think I'll ever be famous. I don't want to be famous simply because I'm a very humble man. I want to keep it that way. Ha! You hear me? Greetings to you and all wonderful audience. Good to have you, brother.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome back, everyone. Thank you. It's episode number 230, discussing the world's. You know what the should I say the words that want to fall out of my mind into my mouth and onto this the world's dumbest book, the world's most frustrating read. And
You have to have skill to be able to get through that. Skill.
no, someone has to drag you through it to force you. It is
Listen,
horrendous
true
reading.
story. Lloyd, a
But
true story. I maybe shared with you before, but I'll do it again anyway. So I got this friend of mine. Her name is Emel from Morocco. And she said, the Bible is just a book. I said, what do you mean? She said, I mean, it's written like a book. Everybody can read it and everybody can understand it. It's just a book. And I said, and? But she said, the Quran is the word of God. I said, and what is your evidence that? She said, when you read the Quran, it's so hard, it's so difficult, you can't understand. The level of the Quran writing and understanding is this high. It's like, it's this, the book itself, it testifies that it is the word of Allah because it's so hard to understand. I said, exactly. You follow me? They think because it's hard to understand the book, it means the author is there must be a great person. I think the author, if an author write a book and it is written above the average of the understanding of his audience, that's not a smart author. That's a dumb author. An author needs to communicate with his people. He needs to communicate with them in their level. So if God will talk like God, no one can understand it. But God is speaking to human for the human to understand his words, his truths, his knowledge. Therefore, his book must be written for the human to understand.
what do you know? So yeah, so what we need to do is we need to take some random take the New Testament, randomize the pages, take the details of a lot of the stories, just strip them
Throw it
out,
out.
just strip out a
Throw it
lot of
out.
the
Yeah.
details, and then give that to the
And
Muslims. So
add, and
you guys
add some story. They don't even know who's talking to who, and also add some weird words. You don't even know what language it is. Then you come up with the Quran. Hey, I got you. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, no Islamic origins. He's right. Hey Mel, welcome. Great to see you. Yeah, no, it is a little tough to understand, and it's on the face of it, it is nonsense. But hey, what can we say? You know. So yeah, well, we are in chapter 14 today. The story
Hey,
of
we're moving on, brother.
Yasin.
14 minus 41 is how much?
Far too many. Far too many. You know.
This is life. As at least the story of Yasin. Can you say that? Yeah.
Yasin. You know what's interesting is how often the Quran makes reference to ancient Arabian gods, like Sin. Right now, Yasin. I mean, the Islamic scholars claim that. I mean, they make all sorts of claims about it. You know that it's, but it's simply a reference to Shin. This is the Babylonian god, and Babylonian god. He was. I mean, this is the, and in Yemen, which was the dominant culture at the time and the dominant religion, the
Yeah.
Babylonian religion was their religion, just under regional names, and the name for the Babylonian god was Sin in Yemen.
Hmm. But in the Arabic language, Yasin is two letters, is the letter Yah and the letter Sin. And you know what's amazing? Muslim will tell you, Muslim, that's Quran chapter 36, by the way. And Muslim will tell you every letter in the Quran is a miracle. Even Alif Lam Mim, Alif Lam Ra, Qaf, Noon, Yasin. All these are miracles, man. You have to understand this is not just a book. It's the word of
Yeah.
Allah.
Something
MashaAllah.
I covered in my series Monotheism, right? I go
Yeah.
through a number of these Quran surahs that are named after pagan deities. Let me just bring up this one quickly.
I love it. I love what you. That's a good study you're doing. I mean, I love to learn from you some of this information because believe it or not, when you come up
So,
with something like that, I never heard that before.
well, so these are Quran surahs named after pagan deities, right? I'll just quickly go through this. Quran 36, Ya Sin. Now, scholars call this the heart of the Quran. This is termed the heart of the Quran. And the meaning of Yasin is unknown according to scholars. It is
Sure.
debated amongst the
Oh, whoa, whoa,
scholars.
whoa,
And
whoa, 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 whoa. It's unknown to us, but it is very known to Allah. Allah knows best.
yeah, no, but the scholar, this was, I'm actually quoting here I think it's like Islam QA or whatever it is. And it's saying
Yeah.
it's debated. One interpretation is, "O human being, it is representative of the divine origin of the book." But we know we can trace it back to Shin is the what was the name of the Babylonian god now again? Oh God, the Babylonian
Which
pantheon,
one? Yeah.
the pantheon of Babylon, Baal, basically, and he was just the name Sin was what the Yemenis gave the head of the pantheon instead of Baal. They just called him Shin or Sin.
Hmm.
So, for instance, Quran 54, Al Qamar is the moon, who was another god of Arabia. This was a god of
Sure.
Arabia. He had 12 different states because of the 12 phases of the moon. Ar-Rahman, Quran 55 is an interesting one. But then Al-Najm, the star, right? Then you have Al-Mulk, Al-Malik, the king, dominion. Okay, Akkadian Mulk, Moloch, right? Al-Buruj, the constellations, the mansions of the stars. At-Tariq, the morning star, which was different. In that region was Venus, Sirius, and Canopus. And Muslims hate the fact that Muhammad's family and his parents were all pagans. Even Muhammad is a pagan in the Sirah.
Well,
He worships.
for 40 years, he did not have any problem to kiss the black stone until he claimed it to be a gift from heaven to earth for the
Yeah,
receiving of the forgiveness of sin. Kissing it,
and he
yeah.
sacrifices an animal to Al Uzza. He and his wife worshipped Al Uzza.
Yeah.
So you've got Asham's the sun. There's just so much that is. And you know what's interesting? Allah is the Lord of Sirius. Let me just take this text on top away. Allah actually is the Lord of Sirius. It says in An-Najm, the star, and He, Allah alone, is the Lord of Sirius. Now, in the Babylonian pantheon, and thus in the Yemeni pantheon, which is the
Yeah.
religion that Muhammad's family followed,
Mhm.
there was a pantheon, and the head of the pantheon is, of course, Shin or Yasin, and Sirius is one of the lesser deities, right? Now,
Mhm.
Sirius was worshipped by Nabonidus, and only one star is mentioned in the Quran by its old Arabic name, right? Ashira is the star Alpha Canis Majoris, so Sirius. And it is stressed that Allah, the creator of all, is the Lord of Sirius. Now, Shin was the head of the pantheon of gods. Shin was the lord of this pantheon, of which Sirius is a lesser deity. Shin is therefore Allah, according to this logic. Al-Jalalain tells us this is a star beyond the constellation of Gemini, which was worshipped in the time of pagandom.
Mm-mm-mm.
Allah is the Lord of Sirius. So therefore, if Sirius is real, then Allah is Shin, who is the Lord of that God.
Man, oh man.
Just
Yep.
really
وَإِنَّهُ
interesting.
رَبُّ الشَّعْرِ رَبُّ الشَّعْرِ. See, here is a fact, Lloyd. When you read a verse like that, verse 94, وَإِنَّهُ هُوَ رَبُّ الشَّعْرِ, and surely he is the Lord of Shari. The word Shar means nothing in Arabic language. We have no idea what that word means. Literally, you go to the dictionary, you find there are 50 meaning for that word, and none of them is like, it's not like close to each other. He was starving, he was very hungry. No, 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 no. It will be completely different meaning for the same word.
Right.
But
Interesting.
now, so now you tell me Shari is actually a god?
According to Al-Jalalain, let's look at Ibn Abbas quickly. And that he it is who is the Lord of Sirius, which was worshipped by the Kuza, right? This tribe. So let's have a look at who that tribe is. The Banu
Yeah.
Kuza is the name of an Azdite, Qahtanite tribe, one of the main ancestral tribes of the Arabian Peninsula. They ruled Mecca for a long time before Muhammad. They lived in Yemen. They moved north. They also worshipped Manat. They became custodians of the Kaaba. They passed the duty on from father to son for 500 years. One of them brought an idol called Hubal to Mecca from Syria, and they are connected genealogically to Muhammad.
Man, oh man. Here
All
I'm
of this
learning.
connects.
Here I see a great connection, and here I am learning. So a verse in the Quran did not mean jack to me all the years of my life. Now I know that he is the Lord of Syria. You see, you say it again. What I say the word?
Sirius. Let me find it for you
Syria,
here. The Lord of Sirius.
who is in
Sirius.
Arabic Al-Shari.
Sirius.
Al-Shari. Al-Siri.
No, this you can look up. Where did I get this? Let me just see where I got this. Lotus. Now, I'm going here to, this is Quran.com, the Lord of Sirius. This is Quran.com saying Sirius, a star worshipped by ancient pagans. That's in Quran.com.
Man, oh man. Let me look at something quickly here before we move on to our study here.
Sandra says nothing to see here. Right, Sandro, you're right. Nothing to see here. Yeah,
Nothing
but
makes sense.
does all the connections make sense that I just showed? All of these odd
Yeah,
connections.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see here. Al-Shari. Amazing, amazing. Verse 49.
Sirius. It says here of Sirius. I mean, it definitely says that.
وأن ربك يا محمد هو رب الشعر يعني بالشعر النجم الذي يسمى هذا الاسم. Oh, so there's a star by that name. Al-Tabari is telling me he meant by Al-Shari the star which was named by that name.
Yeah.
Which
Ibn
is a
Abbas says
star
it.
some people in the ignorancy used to serve, used to worship without Allah.
Ibn Abbas says it. Al-Jalalain says it.
Al-Tabari himself saying that.
Wow. So I didn't just make it up.
Well, sometimes when you talk to me, man, I feel like you're making up stuff all the time. But when I investigate you, I find that you're telling the truth.
No, when I
And
told you about that fish that I caught, that fish was like this
the big
big.
fish,
I
yeah,
meant it.
I
It
know.
was-
But in the meantime, I could not believe that the fish can be fit in the boat which you're using, because the fish was 3 times bigger than the boat. So I do not know how can you put that big fish in the boat. So it seemed to me like you're lying. But now you're telling me the truth.
Dominic says, Shirley, you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
I'm serious too.
No, but so it's just these real oddities that you find in the Quran all the time. By the way, let me show you something else that might be of interest, Usama. SLM, okay? Muslims always want to tell you, no, Salam, Islam comes from the root of something and it means peace, right? Of course we don't,
Yeah,
we know it doesn't.
my foot. Peace, my foot. I understand that. Yeah.
So the root of Islam means graven idol. So I'll go through this quickly. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Now
That's
we
the
are told
Bible.
that the Arabic salam, Islam, okay? So that, right? Now a common Semitic word, salam, right? Strong's H 67, 54, and 55 is image or heathen gods, and it's referred to in these biblical passages. Now, salam, the earliest known form, is in the name of Shalim, the ancient god of dusk of Ugarit or Canaan in Syria, right? This is where the Israelites eventually assembled. This was north on the coast, right? And this
Yeah.
is Venus, the evening star, the offspring of El with Atirat. In Akkadian, they call it Salmu, inscribed, graven image, statue. In Aramaic and Syriac, Salma means image or idol. Found in Nabatean, Palmyrene, and Arab Hatra in northern Mesopotamia. Hatra was an Arab city that was founded in Iraq. Okay, they had it, and it had temples to all the gods. It was a trading city settled by Arabs. In pre-Islamic Arabia, Silim is an object dedicated to a deity. And in feminine, the feminine form is Salamat. In Yemen, it is singular, dual, and plural. Now, notice here though, right? Muslims tell us, no, it means this, but the origin of the term SLM actually refers always to graven idols.
You kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm kidding. But really,
Yeah,
all
but,
of these
but if
references.
you also look at the root of the word salam, I'm sorry, Islam, not salam. Islam, it means to submit or to surrender.
To what? The graven idol, right? The thing, the stone thing in the box, right? So
Could
let's
be.
look at Cassinius Hebrew Chaldean lexicon. That's the Hebrew Iraqi lexicon. Used of any vain thing, a shadow, right? A shadow, not a real thing, a vain thing, an image, a likeness, an idol.
That is
Even
the
in
word
Arabic,
salam.
an image. Do you see the
Shalom. That
connotation?
is the word shalom. Shim lam mim. Shalom.
So SLM originally in the Arabic, that actually is derived from the concept of a graven idol.
Arab sanam. Sanam means idol. You see down here the word Arab sanam, image. The letters, that's the word sanam. Sanam is an idol, statue.
Yeah,
Eh,
Islam, worshipping the idol, worshipping the statue. Isn't that odd?
well, I think that's enough education for me for today, man. If I get any more, I'm gonna get confused. I'm gonna talk like you. I don't want to talk like you.
Yeah,
I
but
want to keep talking like
I mean,
me.
does it make sense to you what I showed you here? Does it seem like just
Yes,
random stuff?
yes, and no. Yes, because what you tell me is true. No, because sometimes the words in Arabic could mean many things, and I
No,
don't think
granted,
that what Muslims mean by what they say, salam.
but there's just
It's
so much context around it that there's just so many odd things around it that I mean, if you look at here, graven idol, the word Silam is common in Semitic. In Akkadian, it means inscribed image, large or small statue. Hebrew, Selim means image or likeness. Syriac, Selma, right? An image of a god. Nabatean. And this is all legitimate. Nabatean inscriptions, the word for statue is Silam,
Hmm.
right? Statue, Silam, image, likeness.
And who is this guy in that image here?
This is an example of the kind of graven image where the image becomes a god. It's the image, the likeness of the god.
But
I mean,
somebody
this is,
broke that one. You see it broken? The nose above the eyes, the lift is broken, man.
yeah. And then you look at the Islamic symbol. Let me just quickly bring this up. I mean, let me just show this. You have the Islamic. This is the hilal, right? The Arab, the crescent star of Islam, Islam symbol. Now, this is Morocco. This is the pentagram flag of Morocco, and this is the witch pentagram, the satanic pentagram. And that's the star of Morocco.
Almost the same, except it's just black and white, and that's red and green.
Yeah. And then if you look here, I mean, I've covered this before, but you have the same symbolism here, the star.
Well, what about the Egyptian flag? What about the Egyptian flag? I see nothing but the
I
eagle
don't
on
have
here.
anything that's just got the eagle on it. But I had a slide before that covering it. But notice the moon, Hilal, Al Qamar, the moon, crescent, Hilal, right? If you go to Hilal, Hilal also becomes the name of a pagan god, which is the moon god. And Sayin, right? Um, so the luminous one, the Babylonian Shin. So the classical Arabic name of God in the form of the full moon is Kumar. Arabian names for the moon god include Nair, the luminous one, and Sayin, which is exactly the same name as the Babylonian god Shin,
Qamar.
right? So
Like Qamar
Kal,
chapter 54, yeah.
and so yeah, it's basically, and the common act of moon worship amongst the Semites was to kiss the hand upon seeing the moon god, right? And you'll actually find Job 31, 26 to 30, 27. Let me see here. Okay, my hand offered them a kiss of homage. That too would have been an iniquity, calling for judgment, for would have denied God above. It speaks of kissing the hand when you see the moon as a god.
Yeah. Yep. I'm familiar with that verse, Job 31.
Yeah, Satanists do wear something similar. So yeah, it might be something worth discussing in the future. I mean, it's just that I did a very brief run through
We
without.
need we need to dig into that subject in a separate program, Lord's willing,
Yep.
because there's so much information. How big is this presentation? How many are slides?
Sorry,
400,
let me go back to it. Let me just bring it back
400
up.
slides, 300 slides.
This one is 193 slides.
Woo, my world! That's like 3 hours, 4 hours, just to
Closer to
run quick.
5 or 6.
I know, but if you run quick, you can do it in 3 hours, 4 hours. Anyway, Yasin,
Your own
Yasin, man.
hand. You kiss your own hand when you see it because yeah. Hilal and pentagram, the moon and the star can't be more obvious. Yeah. I mean, it's just so on the nose, Osama. It's just so on the nose when you go through the history. I know everyone's very interested in the northern history. When you look at the writings of where the hadiths come from, it's all north, granted. But that's all post Muhammad, right? But pre Muhammad, everything is south in Yemen and Africa.
That's why I believe Muhammad did not come up with anything new.
No. In fact, hold on, man. You know what? Hang on. You know what? Then you'd find
I
this.
doubt that there is anything in Islam was not already there.
Then you would actually, the Sabaeans, a Muslim perspective, right? Let me just bring this up quickly.
Yeah.
Muslim writer Muhammad Shukri al-Alusi compared their religious practices. This is the Sabaeans. Now, Abraham was a Sabaean before he became the first Jew, right? And
He
it
took a
says,
lot from the Sabaeans, yeah.
yeah. So he says the Sabaeans and their religious practices. Now, this guy died in 1854, right? And he wrote in his Bulugh al-Arab fi Ahwal al-Arab, Arabs during the pre-Islamic period used to practice things that were included in the Islamic Sharia. They did not marry a mother and a daughter. They considered marrying two sisters to be the most heinous crime. Okay, they made the major Hajj and the minor Umrah pilgrimage to the Kaaba. They performed circumambulation around the Kaaba. They ran 7 times between Safa and Marwa. They threw rocks and they washed themselves. They gargled, they sniffed water up their noses, they clipped their fingernails, they removed all pubic hair, and so on. This is what the Sabaeans did. It's exactly
That's
what
what
Muslims
Muhammad
do.
is do. You're talking about the fitra. They call this fitra, what you do by nature, because but actually it's not fitra, it's coming out from the Sabaeans, yeah.
Yeah, and he says here the Sabaeans have 5 prayers, like the 5 prayers of the
No,
Muslims.
no, no. There were 7 prayers, not 5.
Yeah, but others say they had 7 prayers, 5 of which are comparable to the prayers of the Muslims, right?
Yeah.
Which is the 6th and 7th prayer. They pray over the dead without kneeling. They fast the lunar month of 30 days, right? They fast during the month of Ramadan. They face the Kaaba when they pray. This is what the Sabaeans did, according to this guy.
That's what Muhammad. That's exactly what all Muhammad took out of the Sabaeans. Yeah.
So,
And you go to Quran. He's actually speaking of them very highly. Quran
yes,
chapter.
Muhammad was a Sabi. Hang on, let's just find it. Actually, we'll go, if you find here, the Sabaeans, Sabi. Muhammad the Sabi, let me bring that up. So it was said about the Sabians of Iran, they used to make a yearly pilgrimage. Okay, Muhammad the Sabi. So, okay, so here, she asked where. They said to Allah's messenger. She said, do you mean the man who is called the Sabi with a new religion? They replied, yes. So they brought it to the Prophet. He was a Sabi.
Ha! I did not know that. See that when you said that a couple of times, I didn't want to say I'm not sure about it. Now you can't. You brought me.
We know it's legit because it's in Da'if Bukhari.
ضعيف yeah no it's قوي man hadith قوي صحيح not ضعيف صحيح.
Yeah, so it's in Da'if Bukhari. The Quran provides the Sabaeans
So
with
they
a
call
religious
Muhammad
status
Sabi.
comparable to the Jews and the Christians. And we know the Sabaeans were pagans, were Gnostics.
Yeah.
So isn't it, these are just very odd connections. And there were star worshippers. The Sabian came to be applied as a generic name for star worshipper. Isn't that all very?
Go to Quran 262, brother. Go to Quran 262.
Should I use that? There's this guy Usama. He's got a Quran. Should I use his one?
Please, please. Make me feel like important or special or like 262. What did Allah say that? I mean, when I read that verse and I know a little bit about Sabaeans, like how in the world Muhammad is praising the Sabaeans. It doesn't make any sense. Look at the idol worshippers. Look at my bold statement. Jews, Christians, and Sabaeans, idol worshippers, are accepted by Allah. I mean, we know that they worship idols. Surely those who believe and those who are Jews and the Nasara and the Sabaeans, whoever believed in Allah and in the last day and did good deed, so they will have their rewards, their salaries, their wages with their Lord, and there is no fear on them. I mean, it's literally, I don't know what Muhammad was doing. He's praising Allah wal Uzza al Manat. He's praising the Sabaeans. He's praising everybody. He's trying to hold the stick in the middle to make everybody happy that everybody accept him, but obviously he did not work.
Yeah. So it's just interesting that all of this is largely ignored by the scholars who are very interested in the development of Islamic literature in the later centuries. Granted, but a lot of the foundation of Islam comes from before Muhammad, and it's all of it's based on this all this Babylonian slash Yemeni slash African influence.
Ah, God help us. Anyway,
Yeah, so I thought that might be interesting. I'll just
very,
close
very.
this.
We need to dig deep into that, man.
Yeah, I covered it
Mm.
with Adam. I did it on his channel some time ago. That was my most popular series.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we do this one? The story of
Let's do
Yasin.
it. I am so excited. I cannot wait. My eyes like.
Okay, it's a short chapter, so let's try and we'll see if we can finish it. I'm not sure we will. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Ibn Kathir began the story by stating that Quran 36:13 to 29. Notice that the name of this portion of revelation of the Quran is Yasin, pronounced in Arabic as Yasin. Although the name Yasin is not written, he said these verses are about the people of Yasin. And they give them a parable of the companion of the village when the messenger came to them. When we sent to them two, so they denied them. So we strengthened them with a third. But that is a story of
Bible.
Barnabas and Paul and Philip, I think it is. I have that also in my.
That's
So
things coming up. I'll be talking about. Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, there's no relationship
I'm
there. But
telling you, nothing is new in the Quran, brother. If you dig deep, you find out there's so much stuff that I do not know. Of course, I'm learning myself.
yeah, but that's definitely the story of Philip. I think Philip, Paul, and Barnabas, and then one of them has to go, and then one stays or something. Surely we are sent to you. They said, you are not except humans like us, and the merciful did not send down anything, but you are only liars. How does that even make sense? They said, our Lord knows that surely we are sent to you, and it is our duty. And our duty is nothing except the clear delivering. And they said, surely our bird is in you. If you do not cease, we will surely stone you. What?
You know what a bird here is?
The Holy Spirit? The
No,
dove?
no. A bird is bad luck. It's like if you are
Evil omen.
yeah, if you like if you believe in خمسة وخميسة عين الحسود في يعود, five, the eyes, the circle eyes, or the envy eye. So what happened is if you
The
hear
people's eye?
no, an evil eye, yeah,
The
not
people's
this eye,
eyebrow, sorry. Am I
not
doing it right?
no, like yeah, do it like that. But
I'm
anyway,
trying my
but
best.
here's the deal. Remember when you have here's a raven in the Middle East? Wah, wah, the raven. What people do? They go like this, scratch your head, and if you ask quiet, so it takes the evil thought away. Because the evil bird, that evil, the raven is a bad bird, bring bad luck. It's a culture thing in Egypt. I don't even know if everybody knows it in Egypt. But anyway, go ahead. So that's the evil
Okay.
bird, bad luck. Yeah.
And surely you will be touched with a painful torment from us. And they said, your bird is with you. What if you are reminded? Yet you are an extravagant people. Who talks like this? And a man
Allah.
came from the far part of the city striving.
No, look at the details here. He did not come from the middle of the city, from the east side, no, from the far part of the city. That is details beyond your imagination. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, from the north, the south, the east, the
Not from
west.
the far part. You don't know which one. The other part. The further away. Yeah.
The other one, okay, the far one.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, my people, follow the messengers. Follow those who do not ask a wage from you. And they are guided.
Now let's talk about wage for a minute. Do you know that all the prophets in the Quran, all the messengers in the Quran did it for free except Muhammad? When Allah asks the Muslim believers when they go see Muhammad to take alms given with them. And then Ali is the nephew of Muhammad. He is the only guy who actually break a dollar, to make a change of a dollar. And every time he goes see Muhammad, he give him a dirham, until he spent the whole dollar. And then Muhammad was asking people to give, and they found out they cannot give. He said, "What? How about half? We don't have. How about a quarter? They don't have any money." Therefore, Allah changed the verse. Allah abrogates the verse, and Ali ibn Abi Talib, the nephew of Muhammad, he bragged about that verse was given in the word of Allah in the Quran about when you go meet Muhammad, you take a gift with you, an alms given, And he said he is the only one who practiced that verse, because after he spent the rest of the pennies he have out of his dollar or dinar, that Allah abrogated that verse. Imagine that, how beautiful this information. Muhammad is the only one who came asking people to give him money, and only his nephew gave him a whole dinar, and then the verse was abrogated because obviously Allah found out people do not have money, they cannot afford to give Muhammad a gift every time they go and talk with him. But then later, obviously, you know that Muhammad only worked for 20% of the spoil. Quran chapter 8, only
He
20%.
gave it 80% discount.
Now 80 for the people who go and kill the Jews and the Christians. He only keep 20 out of every dollar. 20%, 1/5, man.
You know, Mr. Wendell gave great advice, and he only took $2.
Hey, am I boring you with this information, man? This is very important information.
You know, we've got the Quran, so
When you hear
I
me,
don't think.
listen. When you hear me, Lloyd, talk about something like that, you need to open your eyes and you go, oh, I can't believe it. Wow. Something like that.
Mashallah.
Yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Go ahead. 20, whatever verse you read.
You know, after listening to that story, I need to take beer, a lot of beer. I have one in the fridge. I'll be right back.
No. Don't take beer while we're doing the show. Wait until we finish and you can take all the beer you want.
And why should I not serve him who created me, and to whom will you be returned?
Yes.
And to whom you will be returned? Will I take gods without him? Should the merciful desire to afflict me, their intercession will not avert anything from me, nor will they deliver me. Surely then I am in an obvious error. Surely I believed in your Lord, so hear me. Who talks like this?
The prophet, which we do not know who is he. I mean, think about it. You're telling me about a prophet. We don't know who's this, what's his name, where he came from, what was his message. That is his message. He talked weird.
No, we know. He came from the far part of the city.
Oh, no. That is the guy who told him to believe in the messenger, not the messenger himself. It's the same thing with the story of Moses. And the man came running, a secret believer came running. And he told him, run for your life, Moses, run for your life. Anyway, it's something about coming from the further away place. Run fast, run, Okay.
So it was said, enter the garden. And he said, I wish my people knew about what my Lord has forgiven me. And he made me of the honorable. And we did not send down troops from the heavens on his people after him, nor were we the sender. It was only a single shout, so they were extinguished.
Something about shout in the Quran. You know, if you look for the word single shout, you'll be amazed how many people die with a single shout. Do you think that's biblical too? Remember when they circling around Jericho? By the way, archaeology proves the story to be true now because they found out the walls of Jericho. But think about it, in their circling around with Joshua and the children of Israel, they circle around that village or that city, Jericho, for 7 days. Every day they circle one time, and they were quiet, no voice, no noise. In the seventh day, they circled 6 times quietly, and in the 7 times they actually shout, ah, whatever shots they made, and that's when the wall fall down. Do you think Muhammad got this idea about single shot out of that story, the biblical story of Jericho?
You know, it kind of sounds like that makes sense.
I mean, what is a single shot? I mean, how can they single shot destroy somebody? Can you explain to me any other way?
Nothing makes sense.
The whole Quran? There must be something makes sense, man. But listen, when you read Ibn Kathir interpretation, it all makes sense now. Watch it.
So Ibn Kathir said it is well known that this village is the village of Antioch. Ibn Kathir, actually, you know, it probably does come from the story of Jericho. I mean, they're probably just misappropriating that. I mean, that makes sense, but nothing makes sense. There's just, I don't know. I need, guys, if you do realize this is affecting my psychology, it is definitely harming me. And if someone could donate so that I can buy bacon because I need a strong infusion of bacon. I need bacon drops,
Yesterday.
bacon shots.
Look at
It's the only vaccination that works, right? So,
listen,
and for
listen.
those of you who need protection from Islam, I recommend bacon.
Yeah, but yesterday we're doing our radio broadcast for VCY. Actually, they play it today, and actually they're gonna play it tomorrow. That program is for tomorrow. And the Muslims are in England are complaining about the use of the use for the word bacon or the use of the word dog. So now in England they will not allow people to use the word bacon or dog. You understand that? So I could not come up with a better answer than that, where I played the commercial of the dog, bacon, bacon, bacon. I can't read, bacon. Have you seen that commercial before?
No, no, but we need to donate to the Bacon Emergency Fund right now.
Eh,
Send in bacon, guys. Send bacon. Just lots of it. I'm gonna need it.
So anyway, it was a good commercial, man. You need to watch the show so you understand what we're talking about. We're gonna be doing it tomorrow live on TV.
All right. So Ibn Ishaq said that Ibn Abbas and others said that it used to have a king by the name of Antichos, Ibn Antichos, and he used
See?
to worship idols.
That name alone is the truth. Antichos ibn in Antioch, that is in Turkey, when it used to be a Christian land, they have Antichos ibn Antiochus. I mean, I never heard of anybody named that like that, Antichos ibn Antiochus, but here it makes sense. You see? Yes, yes. Just say yes.
Allah sent him three messengers: Sadiq, Masdaq, and Shalom. He called them liars, and that's why it is clear they were messages from Allah. Yeah, that's you guys are a bunch of liars. Yeah, now you know that's how you know we're from Allah.
You know,
Qatada, on the other hand, said they were messages of the Christ, Jesus.
wow.
This is painful. Many other Muslim scholars agreed. They stated that the names of these messengers were Simon, John, and Paul, and the name of the village was Antioch. Oh wow, thank you very much, Silver. He says £20 from Silver Mubasa, bacon money. But to be fair, Dakdok was normal before he started coming on your show, Lloyd.
Oh, thank you so much. You know what? Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that the Lord put me together with Brother Lloyd. I'm having fun with him. I really do. Can't wait for the next show.
You know, here's someone who thinks he's being intelligent. A black dog begging for bacon.
Ooh, that's what Brother Yusuf said yesterday. He said, "Imagine if you talk about black dog, that make a big difference."
Yeah, fascinating. Fascinating. A black dog begging for bacon. Obviously from Moon Roof. I wonder, the moon. I wonder what religion he could be from. So fascinating. Yeah. However, Ibn Kathir. Now this is interesting. I mean, Simon, yeah, was it Simon, John, and Paul? They went to Antioch. I mean, but yeah, I remember that story. However, Ibn Kathir said that this was very weak. I mean, but that's exactly the story that is part of the Bible that they seem to be copying. It was said that Jesus had sent three disciples to the
But
people
I
of
don't believe
Antioch.
Simon ever left Jerusalem. It was Paul and Barnabas and John, I believe. John Marcus. But let's read. I cannot remember what I wrote in it. Let's continue to read.
Actually, you know what? Let me have a look at something here.
Yeah, please look at something.
Hold on. What am I looking up here? So, let me see. Antioch.
Let's see who is the missionaries, biblical missionaries went to Antioch.
Now I'm going
I
to
know
find
Paul.
Antioch here. I'm just trying to find something because I have it listed in one of my talks.
You wrote it yourself?
Man, I've got something really interesting on that. Okay, Al-Masudi. So, okay, here, let me show you just very briefly because I could barely remember the reference here. So, for instance, Tabari and, okay, this is Al-Tabari on Peter and Paul preserved. Scholars like Tabri ignore this narrative. He mentions that Paul, okay, he mentions Paul with his arrival and crucifixion in Rome, together with Peter by the order of Emperor
Man,
Nero.
Paul was crucified in Rome.
So Tabri's omission, okay, so Masudi says the crucifixion of Peter and Paul in the days of Emperor Claudius. And he identifies them with the two messengers sent to Antioch, mentioned in Surah 17. And then according to al-Masudi, the bodies of Peter and Paul were put into crystal glass cases in which they were preserved in various churches in Rome
That
until this
is
day.
nonsense. You know what nonsense?
And that was
First
in
of all,
956 he wrote this.
I know, but Paul was never crucified. Paul was beheaded. Peter was crucified according to the church tradition upside down in Jerusalem, not in Antioch.
Yeah, and then if you read the Sirah, they say Jesus was both human and angelic, celestial and terrestrial. And they speak of Jesus had two natures, right? This is in the Sirah. Peter was beheaded, as we know. Paul was crucified, head down.
Peter was not beheaded.
And not an apostle. And they
I
went to
lost,
Rome.
I lost for a second. Peter was not beheaded, but was crucified. The one who was beheaded was Paul. I mean, you see, the Muslims are reading. They're not speaking out of ignorance, but they are reading wrong information and they're repeating wrong information in their writings. See what
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking
this
about?
is what they, and they speak of Nero ruled for 14 years. He slew Peter and crucified Paul head down. This is what's written in the Islamic sources. I mean, you go through the sources, it is insane.
I mean, they got it backwards.
Yeah, but Isa was just human, but in the Sirah, Jesus is both human and angelic. I mean, Islamic sources make no sense. There's this the Sirah and the tafsirs make absolutely no sense.
How about the Quran? Does the Quran make any sense?
None at all. I mean,
Ah,
but if you go to Antioch, there's definitely a story about Antioch that I have as well somewhere. But you know, it's but the story of Paul in the
how
Islamic.
about if we take it from Jesus' parable when he said a master have a feast or a party and he sent invitation and people did not come, send another invitation, did not come, and then he gathers the poor people. How about the other biblical story, which I think that's what I wrote in my book here about there was a man who bought it's a parable of Jesus, a land, and he sent one of his servants to collect the harvest, and they will not give him. They sent another servant, they beat him, they kill him. Then he sent his son, and they said he is an inheritor. Let's kill him and take the whole land for ourselves. And that's exactly the story of the coming of Christ to Jerusalem, to Israel.
Right. Muslims can't drink because they got to stay sharp to try to figure out the Quran. I think she's onto something here. Actually, you know what? This is a very interesting story. If you read through the sources of why Muslim scholars hate Paul, right? All the Muslim historians. For instance, in this particular talk, what I go through is Paul, according to the Muslim scholars, right? These are the claims I go through in this talk. Paul was the king of the Jews because the Muslim scholars confuse Paul with King Saul. Because he was Saul, they confuse him with King.
Because Saul, Paul is very close.
Yeah, so they said he was the king of the Jews. They confuse him with King Saul.
Yeah.
Then they claim, I mean, this is explicit Muslim claims. Christians followed Islam for 81 years after Jesus died. They were Muslims for 81 years and then they changed religion.
Oh my word.
They claim that Paul was a wicked Jew and he committed suicide to God to destroy Christianity. I kid you not. Paul was a good Christian and he influenced the Romans. He went to the Romans and said, look, you need to kill all the Jews for us. Then the Christians never ever believed in Jesus' divinity. Paul fabricated this. And then Paul invented the Trinity. Then Paul caused the Crusades. And Paul started several churches. Yeah, he started the Crusades. And the Crusades was fought to hide
1095. I mean, how old was Paul at the time? He was like 1100 years, 1200 years?
Yeah, no, so he started the Crusades and they fought the Crusades to prevent the truth about Paul's lies coming out. And then not only
I know,
that,
but
Paul started
the
churches.
crusade was in the 11th centuries. Paul was in the first century.
Yeah, and then Paul also started three churches in the third, fourth, and fifth centuries. He started three churches, and what he did was he had three followers, and he gave those followers three sets of contradictory information so that these guys would fight and destroy Christianity.
Normally, I don't drink but water, and I cannot drink but water, so I cannot help it. Let me have a sip of water. Go ahead, brother.
And
Go
then a
ahead.
Muslim believer, a true believer, saved Christ's teachings, and they went underground and hid for centuries until Muhammad came along, when they recognized him as the successor of Jesus, and they
Amen.
said, you've brought back the truth of Islam, and we follow
Amen.
you because we've got the same truth.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Can I say the Shahada now, or we wait?
No, but this is genuinely what they claim. It's, you go through it, it is bizarre. It is bizarre what the Muslims believe. It's crazy stuff.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I'm so excited about that.
So it was said that Jesus sent three of his disciples to the people of Antioch, and it became the first city to believe in Christ. That is why one of the four largest cities, that is why it is one of the four largest cities for the Christian church: Antioch, Jerusalem, Alexandria, and Rome. After them was the church of Constantine. The people of Antioch were never destroyed, but the people of this village, according to the Quran, were destroyed after they killed the messengers.
Do you know that Jesus never sent any of his disciples to any part out of Jerusalem and Judea, and then he obviously sent the Samaritan because he was there. But after the resurrection, he sent them to the end of the world. Anyway, that's a quick comment here.
Yeah, that's a lot of wacky fake news about St. Paul, but that you've got to read the Islamic sources on Paul. It's insanity. Quran 36:29 says it was only a single shout, so they were extinguished. Ibn Kathir said that perhaps the three messengers were sent were different than the three messengers that Jesus sent, and the descendants of the early peoples were the one whom Jesus sent. Okay. Ibn Kathir rejected that these could be the same messengers, for the Quran teaches that it was Allah who sent them, not Jesus.
Wait a minute. Maybe the Quran got it right. It is Jesus who is God who sent them.
Yep, so this doesn't make sense. As for the interpretation of verses 13 to 29, Ibn Kathir stated it was a parable given by Allah to Muhammad so that he could give it to his people concerning the city to which he sent three messengers. That story is mentioned in relation to Paul. It's in my notes. I didn't quite find it. But the people found out that the messengers were human like them, but they responded that they knew that they were human. They continued by saying that if we have lied, so surely Allah would punish and get revenge on us. We are only telling you the message, but Allah will guide whom He wills. Why did He send you there then? Why did He send you to spread the message if He's going to turn people away from the message?
Because that will be the excuse. You read that throughout the interpretation of scholars, because that will be the excuse Allah will use in the day of judgment when they come, when He send them to hell. Because then they will say, well, we never heard. No, I send you the messengers and I cause you not to believe so I can lead you astray, so I can send you to hell. You see? It all makes sense.
The people said that your coming to us brings us bad luck. So the people threatened them that they would kill them and humiliate them. The messengers responded that their bad luck was against them. The messengers wanted to know why the people accused them of bringing bad luck and why the people threatened to kill and humiliate them. They continued to ask if the people were doing all of this because they had called the people to guidance. Ibn Kathir then stated that the messengers said that their people were not believers in the truth. I mean, guys, how can you not believe in this? How can you reject this kind of clarity? And
You should
as we're
immediately.
saying,
Yeah.
and a man came from the far part of the city, and he said,
That's important. That's very important part of the story. Yes.
"O my people, follow the messengers." And so this man came to support the messengers. He showed his belief and support. He assured people that the three messengers were only calling them to the truth without asking for wages.
But how does this guy know now? Here's my question. How in the world this guy know that these are three messengers and just speaking the truth? Oh, especially when he was far away, when he came from.
Don't worry, Allah will clarify later, just down below. Don't worry,
I
it's
guess
coming.
we're okay now.
Details coming now. And so you said that, the three messengers are calling them to truth, and they called them to worship Allah alone. For the man was in error by worshipping others and leaving Allah. But he never worshipped Allah in the beginning anyway. He never left Allah. He never was there. But then he spoke to the messengers, surely I believe in your Lord, so hear me. It was also said that he was speaking to his people to tell about his faith in the messengers of Allah. So they killed him.
They kill him?
That escalated really fast. I thought there was going to be like a plot, a subplot.
Yeah, well,
And
Muhammad.
it's just like, and then they killed him.
Yeah.
So they killed him by stoning him, it was said. Or maybe they killed him by rods. Or maybe little birds flew into him. I don't know. It was also said they jumped on him all at once and killed him. I need to fake my death as well. This is a good idea. I need to
No,
just
no, no,
fake
no.
my
Seriously,
death so I never have to read this.
Listen. Did you read any of that in the verse of the Quran? I mean, all this information. This is supposed to be interpretation to verse 20, brother. Do me a favor. Go back again in the same paragraph. I know you're really suffering. In verse 20. No. In the same page, man. In the same page. You go up a little bit. Go up a little bit.
And a man came from the far part
yeah.
of the city, and he said, my people, follow the messengers.
What does this have to do with what Ibn Kathir said below it? I don't think Muslims understand what is to interpret, man. Hermeneutics does not mean anything to the Muslim. I mean, I can read a verse of the Quran and I can make up a beautiful story about something else, and I will call that interpretation, and Muslim will love it. I mean, where is the killing? Where did he say to the people? Where did he say to the messenger? Where did jump to him one time or one at a time or get a sword?
No, you see, Usama, you understand that two things go together, right?
Yeah.
Love and marriage and jumping and shouting. So because they were shouting, they also had to be jumping. Have you never seen kids? So they jumped, and I can tell you now.
Hey, I know. No, I remember now when I used to be a kid, yeah.
So there was one big shout, and they went, ah, boom!
Jumped on him. Imagine, how many people can jump on one guy? One time.
Depends how big your feet are. Back then, people had bigger feet, you see?
He did not say half of them jumped on him one time, but all of them in one time. They went up in the air and jumped on him, and that's how they killed him.
Maybe he was walking and then they jumped from a roof.
Okay, all of them were on the top of the roof.
Maybe they were all on the roof, so the building cracked and fell because of the weight, and the building actually just crushed it.
How many there were?
Enough to damage the building. Enough to,
kill the man who believed in the messengers. MashaAllah. He came from all the way from the further away from the city to be killed.
Well, I mean, better to kill someone from far away because no one will notice.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes more sense to me now. I can see it.
So yeah, no, this is. Ibn Kathir said that Ibn Ishaq said that they jumped on him with their legs. With their legs, they jumped on him with their legs.
Well, I don't know how can you jump. Can you jump with your hands? With your
These
head?
guys used their legs. So it shows these were advanced humans. They used legs for jumping.
Ooh.
This is like not prehistoric. We can tell from this that
Look at the detail now. Look at the detail. How did he die, man? It's very
his
disgusting.
bowels came out of. These are brain stabbing images I am never going to get out of my head.
I'm sorry, brother. That's what I read is the Arabic language. Because you made me sick all these years. Now you can feel some of my pain, man.
So, yeah, maybe it was hobbit feet. If it was hobbit feet, that's hairy stuff. That's a disgusting way to die. That would be a horrible way to die. I mean, I think hobbits have hair under their feet too. That's Abu Mujleh says that the name of this man was Habib ibn Mari.
Hey, they know the name of the guy Miracles, even though the Quran does not mention the name.
He was a carpenter and a rope maker.
How
And
did
he
you
had
know that?
many other jobs. He was a handyman. And he was worshiping in a cave, and Allah knows best.
How in the world did you come up all that from one verse? You have no
Um,
answer. I smoked you, man. I ask a simple question and you have no answer. Goodbye. You see how bad I made you look like?
you know what? I mean, someone's just mentioning a question about the Al Zut here, and it's like sometimes when when you say I'm going to jump on that person, you don't quite mean with your feet, because once we had this word over here, it's like how exactly did they jump on him that it affected that part of his body? You know what I'm saying?
Because it's not just one or two, all of them jumped on him.
One
If
at
you
a
get all
time.
the people to jump one time, all of them one time, for sure that's what happened to the person. His bowels will come out of his thing backwards. You know?
Right. So Ibn Abbas said that he was a great giver of good deeds in a hurry. That's why Allah said he would admit him into the garden. When he saw what was on in the garden of joy and happiness, he prayed, may Allah forgive him and make him one of the noble ones, and may his people know that.
Wait a
Meaning
minute.
that he
Wait a minute.
wished his people would
He,
believe
he
his
went
maker.
to the garden and then he prayed, may Allah forgive him. He went to the garden with all his sin on his head. Doesn't make any sense. How can Allah put somebody with sin into the garden? But sin have nothing to do with
Too many
anything.
questions here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he hoped that others could receive what he had received from Allah. Ibn Abbas said that this man advised these people in his life when he said, O my people, follow the messengers. He also advised them after his death when he said in Quran 36, I wish my people knew about what my Lord has forgiven me, and he made me of the honorable.
How can he advise them when he's already dead?
But
He
this is before he
also
was dead. He said
advised
that
them
before he was dead.
after his. No, no, listen, brother, listen. You cannot take me with a quick talk like that. He also advised them after his death. How can you advise some people when you're dead?
Um,
Okay, let's move to this paragraph. That's fine. You're good. You're good.
and then Quran 36 says, and we did not send down troops from the heavens on his people after him,
Wow.
nor were we the sender. And this means that Allah said we did not need to take revenge upon until the troops came down from heaven on them. However, Mujahid and Qatada said that he meant message, not troops. Okay.
I thought Muhammad was sent as a mercy to all mankind. If that's the case, how can Allah said he did not send? He will not send. It's what is the tense here? Past and present and future. It seemed to me it's a continuation in the present tense to the future to come.
Sandro has a solution. It is beyond human reasoning, and you won't understand it.
Oh, because it's a word of Allah. But that's wait a minute. That
Ave
is
Maria's imagination is starting to implode. People are being damaged by this, Usama. This is causing emotional
sorry.
trauma.
I said I'm sorry. How many times I apologize?
I'm getting Islamo trauma. That's why people get Islamophobia. It's this that causes it.
Listen, I'll tell you what. When I see you next time, I will buy you some medicine. Camel urine.
Right. So it was only a single shout,
Yes, I need to hear about the single shot.
and they
Tell me
were
again.
extinguished. Ibn Kathir said that interpreter said that Allah said that the cat in the hat said that Aunt Millie had said that the girl in the corner had said that the angel Jibrish was sent by Allah on them, and he shouted over them a great shout.
Oh, it was Gibrish himself who did the shout. I thought the people did the shout.
and they were extinguished, meaning their voices were silent and their movements were so still that their eyelids did not move. That was the proof that this was not the village of Antioch, because these people did not believe in Jesus and they called their messengers liars. Antioch was the first city to believe in Christ when he sent his messengers to Antioch.
And my question is, how can that these three messengers were sent and only one God believed and that one died? Nobody believed it at all in the messengers, according to the story so far. Normally in the Quran, some people believe, few people believe. Hey, in case of, by the way, the Prophet Saleh, lots of people believed in him and lots of people did not believe in him. How can you explain that to me? How can lots of groups go against each other? Let's say if we say lots of people believed in Saleh, Prophet Saleh, say 70%, and lots of people did not believe in Saleh, say 70%. Would this make them 140% people?
Are you saying when you're asking questions, are you encouraging people to ask questions? Because there's a
Sure.
price for that.
When you say lots of people believe in him, and at the same time you say lots of people did not believe in him, how can this be? When you add a lots to a lots and make it 140%, 150%, that's more than 100%. The logic thing is this, Lloyd. If you say lots of people believe in him, you have to say, and a few did not believe in him. Or a few people believed in him, you have to say, and lots of people did not believe in him. You see what I'm saying? To make the difference between the 100%.
You know, if you ask questions, you leave Islam. And now you know why. Because there are no answers, there are only questions.
Yeah, 5101, man. My favorite verse. 5. You know the fifth? In America, we have the fifth. If you take the fifth, that means I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to talk. And you go to 101, 101, Allah said, don't ask.
I plead the fifth.
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Do you have that in Poland? Or you have to
Here,
talk?
the sad thing is in Poland, they'll ask you questions you can't understand.
Or you cannot understand the question. That means you cannot answer anyway.
Exactly. My wife makes me offers I can't understand either.
Oh, well.
So no one knows who these people were, when they lived, who their messengers were, what city it was, who they killed, why they jumped on him or didn't jump on him or killed him with a fish, whatever. It's very vague. It can mean anything. Perhaps this is a twisted version of the parable of the vineyard in the Bible in Luke 20.
Aha! See, I told you that earlier. You don't believe me.
Here's a summary. There was a man who planted a vineyard, and he put workers in it. When the time came, he sent a servant to bring him some of the fruit. But the vineyard workers beat the servant, and they sent him away empty-handed. The owner sent him another servant, and the workers scourged and dishonored the servant and sent him away empty-handed. Then the owner sent a third servant, and the same thing happened. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What should I do? I will send my beloved son."
The one came from far. Whoa. The beloved son, the one who came from far away, further away from the city. Okay.
Far away.
Yeah. But perhaps if they see, keep going.
So perhaps if they see and receive him, they will revere him. Instead, when they saw him, they said amongst themselves, "He is the heir. So let's kill him and the inheritance will be ours." Why would the father give you the money for killing? Yeah. So they took him outside the vineyard and they killed him. What should be done to such people? The father must come and destroy those people and give the vineyard to others. At the end of the parable, those who heard Jesus say this said, "God forbid." This is an important parable because it tells the entire story of what God is trying to do with man. God sent many prophets, but people refused to believe and turned from their wicked ways. Instead, they killed these prophets. Then God sent his son and he was killed. That is the message of the story. Jesus said that the stone which the builders rejected is the cornerstone, Jesus Christ himself.
I think I really believe that Muhammad heard the story, or those who helped him to write the poetry of the Quran heard the story about this parable here, and somehow they just made it up to the verses we just read on the Quran. I mean, this is how the Quran is written. An idea came by from some other books, from other beliefs, from whatever, and Muhammad liked it, so he will take it and twist it and put it in a poetry form, and he put it in the Quran. If obviously it's very vague, he don't even know who's talking to, because this. Where is the detail in the Quran? Do you see anything written in the Quran with details? Nothing. And then you get to the scholar like Ibn Kathir and others, and they will eventually make up some fabrication, which they call interpretation. And now Muslims believe in the Quran 100%.
Yeah, good grief.
It's
I
sad.
just wonder. I'm trying to find something
From your book, your material.
but there's some interesting stuff here that on this. The Muslims confuse Saint Paul with Paul of Samosata,
Yeah.
right? So let me just take that away. So the scholars, there's a guy. So Paul of Samosata, they call him Bulus al-Shimshati, and he's the bishop of Antioch, right? And he was in 260 A.D. So he was dismissed in 269 for a heresy named after him, called the Paulianist heresy, right? So basically, he was a Unitarian. He denied the Trinity and also adoptionism. So Jesus was a creature adopted by God, kind of thing. And according to the 19th canon of the First Council of Nicaea, his followers could only remain in the church after rebaptism. Now, in some of these Islamic sources, Bulus al-Shimshati was the first to claim that Jesus combined manhood and divinity. And before that, they said Christians were unanimous that Jesus was created as a human, right, which is a Gnostic view. But now, in the Islamic sources, this is the very same act that's attributed to Paul. And in this guy, Saif, he's a very well-known Islamic scholar who started the whole idea of tahrif, right? This is the major scholar of tahrif in Islam, right? He's accused of being the first to have spoiled the religion of the Christians. So Paul spoiled the Christian religion, but so did Bulus al-Shimshati in 260 AD. Just out of interest, with regards to Antioch, yeah?
That's a nice piece of information here. I like that.
Yeah, but there's some stuff on Antioch that I was trying to get. Hold on. The story of the dwellers of the town. Let's see if this is the same. Just trying to find a parallel to what you said. Allah sent them 3 messengers. Yeah. The story of the dwellers of the town and their messengers, a lesson that those who belied their messengers were destroyed. So it says here, Allah sent 3 messengers. The names were, we just covered those. We sent to them 2 messengers. They denied both. So they hastened to disbelieve in them. We reinforced them with a 3rd, right? Ibn Jurayj narrated from Wahb bin Sulaiman from Shu'aib al-Jabai. The names of the first 2 messengers were Simon and John. And the name of the 3rd was Paul, and the city was Antioch. So they actually discuss this in the Islamic sources. So the scholars are all over the place, right? But of course, Ikramah, Qatada, and al-Zuhri say it was Antioch.
But wait,
Some,
I have to ask a question. Where does these scholars come up with this knowledge? Where does they come up with this information? Were they also prophets? Did Allah inspire to them a message by Angel Gibrish or somebody else?
yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, but
It's easy to read something makes sense after you read the Quran, which does not make any sense, and you use that which makes sense to understand the Quran, which does not make any sense. But in the same time, if you don't have any logic or common sense, these people are making up stories using biblical information to help us to understand a Quran which does not make any sense.
none of it makes sense. I mean, yeah. But also, they speak of Bulus here as king of the Jews. Paul is king of the Jews. They think he's King Saul.
Brother,
right?
this is a problem all over the Quran, not just the Muslim people. Think about Mary, the mother of Jesus, is Mary, the sister of Moses and Aaron. I mean, how can you squeeze 1,500 years? You get rid of 1,500 years to come up with the same story. Mary, Jesus now is a nephew of Moses. Actually, Moses is his uncle, the brother of his mother. How can you fix that? Help me out here. How can you fix that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, brother.
By the way, I came across this reference. I don't know if this is relevant, but just something interesting. Abdul Jabbar, refers to Ioannis or Johannes, John, an Eastern Syriac Nestorian form of the name John. But he uses the word repeatedly, the word Ishu, which refers to Jesus, right? And
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
this is unusual for an Arabic text, but is based on the East Syriac form of the name Jesus, Isho. Western Syriac is Yashu. Abdul Jabbar teaches the reader that Ishu is Syriac for Isa, the Quranic form of Jesus. Just thought it might be
No,
interesting.
that is hogwash, man. Are you serious?
I'm just the messenger
Now
here.
you put Isa in the Quran to issue Isa my foot. Yeah.
Oh man, but if you go through the whole stories of so the story, the tradition of Paul as one of the three messengers to Antioch comes from the apocryphal Acts of Peter. It contains a miracle contest between Saint Peter and Simon Magus. So the first record of the tradition that Saint Peter was crucified head down. Okay. So Ibn Kathir refers to Simon, John, and Paul, but he doesn't believe that it's Antioch. And then of course they have all of these claims about that Paul and Peter were preserved in glass coffins in Rome and all of that. It's just
I think Ibn Kathir we could change his name to Ibn Khalil. You know what the difference between Ibn Kathir and Ibn Khalil?
no.
Kathir means much. He's the son of much, but in reality, he's the son of little.
Wait, sorry, I missed that. Sorry.
Khalil is less. Kathir is much.
Okay.
So I think he's the son of less, not the son of much.
Right. Yeah.
The guy is empty here.
Yeah, but I mean, the tafsir is just completely disqualified.
I don't believe, Lloyd, people understand what the word tafsir actually means. It's supposed to be interpretation, not fabrication. They're two different words, tafsir and ikhtira'. Tafsir is interpretation, ikhtira' is fabrication. You cannot interpret a verse with information that does not exist in the verse or in another verse to support that verse in the Bible or in whatever book you're reading. So it's just foolishness. This is simply pure foolishness. Interpretation of the Quran is a fabrication by so-called Muslim scholars to help the Muslim to understand an ambiguous book. End of story. Not just in the story as we have seen today in our study of Yasin, but even the other stories which coming up. We're going to have some more biblical stories coming up. Obviously, we're going to find that it will look as Brother Muhib said. When you talk about the stories of the Quran, which does not have a biblical story, it's kind of hard to come up with. Here is the true story. Here is the operation because it's just made up. I mean, here we're talking about a parable taken out of context and fabricated information. But Jonah is coming up. I think Jonah will make more sense. Quran in my book, chapter 14, Jonah will make more sense to see how foolish the word of Allah in the Quran is when you compare it to the true biblical story of Jonah in the book of Jonah in the Bible. Because you got something to go back to. All right. Yasin, we don't have anything to go back to except I just saw it, I guess. It's talking about the parable of Jesus. Or
how is this story even about Yasin? Who was Yasin? When did he show up? What was his part? Was he the driver of the getaway car? What was his role here?
Brother, it's the same as Saleh. It's the same as Shaib. It is the same with what's his name? Yud. These are just made up stories. And I believe, see, with Brother Muhib in our study on Fridays in the Arabic language, he go to something is called Nazariyat al-Isqat. What is Nazariyat al-Isqat? I have a problem in me. So I will put my problem. You may find what it is in English if you can look for it. I maybe will film it on. I'll find what's wrong in me in Lloyd. So maybe I say my nose is so big, and Lloyd have a big nose. So if I say I have a big nose, oh Lloyd have a big nose, or Lloyd is big is a fat guy because I am fat. All what Muhammad went through while he's claiming to be a prophet, if this is a true story, he put on other people before him, so he will not be the only one who's rejected. Think about it. If they reject previous prophets, if they call previous prophets liars, then it's okay for Muhammad to continue to claim to be a prophet because people rejected him and people call him a liar. It's a psychology ideology, which is isqat in Arabic. I don't even know how to say it in English. I don't need the word. It is what you go through in your life, you drop on other people before you,
Yeah,
so
you're
you make
projecting.
yourself,
Yeah, you're
huh?
projecting. Yeah,
Yeah,
projecting.
rejected. So you make yourself accepted. So that's how Muhammad made up many stories in the Quran. Like these messengers who rejected, it's not just me rejected, Muhammad said, but other rejected. Salih was rejected, and Shaib was rejected, and other people were rejected. But when you investigate the stories which he made up, you find there's no truth in it. These people never existed. Or it is the opposite of what he said. Because in the case of Moses, not only Moses, people believed in him, and 2.5, 3 million people left Egypt and went to the promised land under the leadership of Moses, but even the sorcerers, the Egyptian sorcerers, believed in Moses and went out with him from Egypt to the promised land, according to the Quran. You see the problem here? So he lied about biblical stories and he invented, made up stories to make it part of who he is. I am not the only guy who's rejected because others were rejected. I'm not the only one who is persecuted because others are persecuted, except
You just
Muhammad,
made
obviously.
me think of something. I want to read you something from the life of Muhammad. This is the Sirat Rasul Allah. You know,
Okay.
this is the life of Muhammad, page 383. The apostle made for a rock on the mountain to climb it. He had become heavy by reason of his age, and moreover, he had put on 2 coats of mail, so when he tried to get up, he could not do so. Ubaidullah squatted beneath him and lifted him up until he settled comfortably upon it. So, according to the Sirat Rasulullah, Muhammad became fat.
He ate too much. He got rich. So much meat.
Yeah. And then on the day of resurrection, a huge fat man will come who will not weigh the weight of the wing of a mosquito in Allah's sight. Yeah, we shall not give them any
Now,
weight
now,
on the
now,
day of
now we move
resurrection.
from, yeah, now you move from something logical to some stupidity.
Yeah, no, because he's got to say, well, being fat don't matter, man.
Because in the sight of Allah, you're too small. You're too tiny, bite like a mosquito's size.
Yeah, but apparently Muhammad, got a little heavy at the end of the time,
I think he had it so good in the end.
just
I
out of
think we're
interest.
gonna cut it short today. We're gonna cut it short for the audience. I know they suffer a lot in the previous portion. I apologize about that, but we'll make it better next program. Next program it will be Jonah, and we'll actually have a laughter there. There's some comedy
We
there.
can do that. So guys, look, if there's one thing you learned today, however much bacon you're taking as vaccine, you need more of it.
Yeah,
So I recommend you double your bacon dose, two rashers of bacon every morning. I recommend bacon flavored chips, bacon flavored sweets. Put bacon under your mattress. Just do whatever you have to.
use
Um,
it as a friend of mine. She used the piece of bacon as a bookmark for inside the Quran. So between the pages, she I'm not kidding you. She actually
bacon
used
bookmarks.
very cooked bacon. She dried it so good, and she marked the pages of the Quran with it. Her Quran is loaded with fat.
Right. So yeah, I mean, rub your hands with bacon before you read the Quran, stuff like that. Just have bacon before you study it. Have bacon after. This is the
Bacon,
only way
bacon,
to keep
bacon,
yourself
bacon.
safe from
Yeah,
Islam.
I
Okay.
can't read bacon.
So guys,
Right.
thank you very much. That's been another horrific descent into the mind of madness, studying the Quran, and I am never going to forgive Usama for this. I
Hey,
now
at
need to
least
go and
now, whoa, excuse me. Now, at least you learn about Prophet Yasin and the people of Yasin. Before today, you
yeah,
were
he came from
so
far away. Then
away.
he said, "Hey, listen to these guys." Then he got killed. They could have done this chapter in 4 sentences, man.
No, but we have to honor Ibn Kasir.
But how was he a prophet? How was that established? When was
Uh,
that? Where? How?
remember, we said don't ask. Why asking questions, man? I asked the question, you complain. Now you ask me the questions. I don't like the way you talk to me.
Yep. So guys, I recommend a strong bacon detox. All right. So
Hey, sausage is good too if it's made out of pork. Sausage.
pork is the most popular form of meat here in Poland. It's like pork central. So
Mm. Do you know that the guy we talked about the bacon here, who was actually in England, and he said we love bacon. They arrested him in England and they put him in prison
oh, there's a
because
guy. Yeah,
you heard the story.
the UK is.
UK lost their mind. You tell the Muslim we love bacon, they put you in prison.
Do you know? You know, there's this story about came out of Scotland with the young girl who had the two weapons. She had the knife and the axe, but they were being
Yeah,
filmed and followed by this migrant, obviously. And the one girl was saying she's 12 years old. Leave her alone. Don't touch her. Don't touch my sister.
I've
These
seen
girls
the
are
video.
screaming for the men to leave them alone. Right? Of
Yeah,
course, the police arrest the girl.
sure.
Right? They don't arrest the migrants who are harassing the girls.
No,
Why
no,
are
no.
they
The
leaving?
migrants, listen. The migrants have the right to catch the 12 years old girl and rape her. And then if they arrest him, they apologize to him and release him. But she will be arrested by saying, don't touch me or don't get close to me, don't rape me.
Yeah,
And she will
but
be in prison for a long time. I promise
But
you.
you
She
remember
will.
the video starts where they said you guys are kitty bashers. Right? The one girl is shouting, "You guys are kitty bashers. You guys are kitty bashers." She said it like 2 or 3 times. So it turns out that wasn't the whole video. What had happened was apparently the migrants had kicked another girl to the ground and beat her. So they'd hurt another girl. So the girls were going, that's why they were calling these migrants kitty bashers for beating up children. And that's
Yeah.
why the girl was angry because obviously they'd been for months harassed by these people and she's carrying weapons to protect her friends.
I think that and the people of Europe need to wise up and not rise against the Muslims. They need to rise against the stupid government which rules them. That's what I said in my program
Yeah,
last night as I was recording my show. It's time for the British and the Swedish and the Irish and the German and the British, I mean, all these people to rise up and get rid of the
yeah,
stupid, wicked, evil, weak, garbage governors and
of course.
whatever come under them. Just get rid of your people, put them in prison, and you control your country. You free Europe from Islam. Otherwise, just leave Europe, go somewhere else. Come to America. Help us to save America.
Yeah, no, but look, look at Texas. Like Texas is supposed to have a very conservative governor. The guy is funding money
Mosque.
to numerous Islamic associations, Islamic
Yeah,
agencies. Texas has had more.
listen, he's holding the stick in the middle. Does not want them to build Islamic community, but he will give him a few $1 million to help them to build some Islamic center or some mosque. Because they say, I'm not a racist, I'm not Islamophobe. Look, I'm giving you hundreds
Yeah,
of thousands of
exactly. But
dollars.
Texas has had more Islamic attacks than any other state. And this guy is doing all the wrong things while claiming to have all the right credentials. I mean, the governor of Texas is the guy's playing both sides.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. But I mean, all that's happening is, I mean, I think they're simply hastening on the next crusade. I
Yeah.
mean, war's coming. I think everyone knows this is not going to end
It's going
peacefully.
to be a
I
bad
think,
civil war in Europe before America if the people of Europe will have a little bit anger. So far, they're cold, they're taking it easy, they're rude. A man rape his wife, a man rape his daughter, and he just smile, go to court, call the police arrested the guy. 48 hours, they release him, let him go free. These men, if they have some respect, they should get rid of these wicked governments. I'm telling you, they are there to accommodate the Muslims, not to protect the people of Europe. It's time to get rid of them, or you're going to end with civil war. And the police and the government will stand up with the Muslims against you, people of Europe. Because that's how
yeah,
they're going to end.
no. Oh, wow. Janice says, no, it won't be a civil war. It's definitely not going to be civil. And that's unfortunate. I mean, a
Well,
year ago, this would have been considered a crazy outlandish theory. Now
If,
everyone's talking
listen,
about
if
it. The
it's not going to
news.
be civil war, it will be total destruction of Europe. Muslim will take over
That's.
the entire country.
I don't think so, Sama. I think they might believe, but they're starting to wake up the dragon. I think the
I
this
see some women. I see some women waking up in England to speak
no
against
the
women.
I
Yeah,
mean, you see the whole flag thing. I mean, look, the flag is a symbol of presence, right? But also it's a
yeah,
symbol of domination. When you raise your flag, you raise your colors. It's a symbol of a political position, but also it's a symbol of seizing territory, of owning or taking territory. And the
yeah.
fact that the English, that various people are upset that Englishmen and women are putting their own country's flag on their own poles, this means that they're unhappy with the English stating ownership and authority over territory, which they feel that
Why?
they've
But
taken.
here's the question: why the British did not do that in the last 55, 60 years when the Muslims start rising up all over England?
You don't want to be racist now, do you?
What racism have to do with anything with that? I'm a British guy. I like my flag. I'm gonna fly it up everywhere. That have nothing to do with racism. This is
No.
called country
Yeah, I mean,
ownership. This,
someone's asking about just war theory. I mean, look, if you look at the Crusades happened 462 years after the Muslims had invaded the
yeah,
first Christian
for
country.
70 something, for
And
72 industry.
you're talking 462 years. So the Muslims had taken at that point 75% of what was known as Christendom, Christian lands, before the Christians were able to rally a force and go and fight them and keep them out
That's
of
true.
Europe.
Yeah,
So it took a lot of convincing. But I think now, look, you know what? Muslims are a minority in Europe still. Yes, they can cause a lot of damage, and
hmm,
they've been obviously preparing. But the thing is that the dominoes, once they fall in Europe, you have so much larger local population. And if you look at Europeans, are only a generation or two away from what happened in World War II. Few people
yeah,
realize after Germany was defeated in World War II, Germans had populated large parts of Central and Eastern Europe. Like something like 12 million Germans had settled there. And the Europeans sent them back, made them walk in winter, and most of them died. They didn't care because they were the enemy. And I think you'll see the same thing happen. The English were invaded by the Danes, and they were so tired of them after a while, they slaughtered a lot of them, including their descendants. So, and they nearly wiped them out completely from the English DNA. They were so sick and tired of it. So, this is coming back. I mean, that's my fear that this is coming back.
yeah, yeah. We pray. Pray the Lord will give the people in Europe some wisdom to stand up for their rights, stand up for their country, and get rid of these Muslims. Get rid of them. Otherwise, the Muslim will get rid of you. One of the two. They're
Yeah.
not going to mix oil and water, especially when Muslims tell you, we're not here to assimilate. We're
Mm.
not here to melt in the melting pot. We're here to take over. So do
I
what's
mean,
right.
Paul does write in Romans 13 on justice, and he speaks on that. Justice has the sword, and so we ought to use the sword for judicial reasons. I mean, for the correct reasons, but I mean, there's no look. I mean, how can you defend the truth if you let everyone steamroll you? How do you defend your family? You have to make a choice, right? Do you allow these people to harm your family, or do you step into the breach and you start to deal with that? I mean, you got to protect the people behind you. You can't let evil be victorious by doing nothing. Turning the other cheek was more, I think, about dealing with insult than dealing with physical threats because you are allowing a greater harm. I mean, evil should be stopped.
Brother Lloyd, I have no problem to turn my cheek because I will follow Christ. You personally attack me, I will forgive you and turn my other cheek. But if you touch my wife, if you touch my daughter, it's over my dead body. Because the same Bible which teach to turn the other cheek is also teach us to love our wives as Christ loved the church. Jesus died for the church. I will die for my wife. I will die for my daughter. And that's what makes me sick when I see the British and the Swedish and the German and the Irish and all the people in Europe, their wives have been raped, their daughters have been raped, and they're standing there like nothing. I never heard any Muslim, any people of the people of Europe who are victims of these rape cases, thousands and thousands of them, did anything about it. What's wrong with you people? Are you really love it? Muslim raping your daughters and your wives?
No, they've been suppressed by the state. But I think this is changing, and an event will occur. Something will happen. I mean, something that happened in France, which is something I grew up with in South Africa. A group of migrants, black migrants, took over a neighborhood. They put up barriers. They started to burn tires on the streets. I grew up with that. It's still happening today in South Africa.
Sure.
So they will start to claim territory. They will start to use irregular warfare. And there is no negotiation with this. At some point, you have to throw them out or put them down, harshly suppress them. There will be no way of polite negotiation, unfortunately. You're dealing with a mindset that really doesn't like you very much. Let's put it that way.
God helps. God helps.
So that's that. So yeah, things are changing, but I mean, I don't think it's wrong to defend yourself. I don't think it's wrong to defend your country, God, family, country, and sometimes you have to fight. That's why we have warriors. There's plenty of examples of God asking people to fight, and people fighting to defend themselves. The fact that Jesus was, let's say, not someone who got into fistfights doesn't mean that was his example. Doesn't mean that that's your example. You're not Jesus.
In the Bible, Jesus did use force when it comes to the glory of the Father, when he went to the temple and cleaned it. I mean, literally, that's not the soft talk, please move out. He forced people out. If Jesus can clean the temple because people made the temple a market, why can't the people of Europe clean their country, which become now a place for foreigners to come to rape your children, rape your wives? Hello?
Okay.
It's the same ideology, same belief. There's nothing wrong about defending your house, clean your land, and get rid of this savage who are there for one reason only, to take over. It's invasion. It is invasion after infiltration. You cannot let it continue like that. Because
I think people are realizing the threat. People sense now a threat. And because they've got X, they've got social media, they can talk about it, they can rally around these issues.
Brother, I cannot wait to talk to a liberal in my life, here in America or anywhere else, to defend the Muslims, to defend the refugees, to defend the asylum seekers, because I will give them a piece of my mind, because they're stupid. If you have not read that book, don't you dare talk about the Muslim in any positive way. Have you read that book and you like what's in that book? Go ahead, give your wife and your daughter and your granddaughters as well, if she's over 6 or 7 years old. Go ahead, give them to your Muslim neighbor, because that's how stupid you become. But if you don't know anything about Islam, it's time for you to shut up, educate yourself, and get rid of them. They're worse than cancer, man. They're worse than cancer. God helps.
For sure.
Our time is up.
So guys, I think we can call it a night here. Look, things are accelerating, and an event will occur. Something's going to happen.
Yep.
They're going to push people too far. And
what's coming next week? Every week, what's coming next week is bad.
Bad. I mean, look what's happening in the States. The closer you get to the kickoff point, right? The closer you get to violence, the more force you have to use to prevent that violence from occurring, from flaring
That's
up.
the only way you can save your country.
Yeah. So you don't want to wait for the violence to happen, but the closer you get to the trigger point, the more force you have to use to prevent that. And unfortunately, there comes a point where taking action is going to cause violence regardless. And you don't want to manage the decline, you want to win. I think at this point, you have to choose and pay the price. So guys, thank you.
Brother. God bless all the wonderful audience we have. And please like us. If you don't like me, just like Lloyd, and share that video with others. Amen.
And if you don't like me, just make sure you like bacon, okay? Bacon will save you.
Eat more bacon. It's good for you.
Eat more bacon, exactly. So guys, it'll keep you safe from Islam. All right. Take care, guys. God bless. Good night.
God bless you too. Bye-bye.